Welcome to the program, Eric Bolling.
Hey, Glenn. Thanks for having me back.
You bet.
I'm sitting at the Trump Hotel bar last night, as I do every Tuesday and Wednesday for the show. And they lower the music, and what's typically on the screens is one CNN, one Fox Business, one ESPN. They lower the volume on everything, and they play the speech full volume in the whole Trump lobby. A lot of supporters here, and it was a few minutes. I think he was making his case for what could be, his declaration of a national emergency to get some of the wall funding. So, I think he's being told, he's being advised by Kellyanne and Schein and Sarah Sanders, and it is kind of a team advisory panel about what to do with this. I understand he didn't want to do the speech, and I understand he didn't really necessarily want to go to the Texas border. He feels those are a little bit more, photo op-ish than any substantive action. But he's entrenched. He's dug in. He's not going to give up without a fight.
So tell me, Eric, the story that he had lunch with all of the anchors and he said, this is a photo op, and I really didn't want to do it. And it's not going to make a difference. Is that story true then?
Well, I mean, I would think it is. I read it as you did, and when you have a room full of journalists, and off-the-record comments tend to become leaked, and so I guess it would be true. But I tend to agree with him. I don't think last night necessarily moved the needle. I think Trump's base, people who've supported him from the beginning, want to see a wall built and want to see him threaten to shut or continue to shut down the government until they get funding for the wall. And the people who didn't vote for him or don't like him, liberals or anti-Trumpers or whomever, didn't come to his side by watching that, nor did they become any more emboldened by watching Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer really look ridiculous.
Oh, that was weird. That was just weird.
Going around of comparisons, to what they look like. It is actually hysterical. Let me just throw one thing at you, Glenn. 2019 request for foreign aid budget, $27.7 billion. That includes $3 billion for Israel, $1 billion for Jordan. People like me and maybe libertarians like you would say, well, if we're willing to spend almost $30 billion handing out money to foreign countries, is $5 billion, whether you think it's effective or not, is $5 billion really a big deal to protect our southern border, even if half or a third of the country believes it needs to happen?
No, it's really not. This is a ridiculous, I think this is a ridiculous argument, and it's coming at I think a ridiculous time. The time to fight this was, in the first year or two. Now we're sitting here and everybody's digging in because we're approaching an election. I don't think the Democrats are going to give on this. Why do you have any idea why we didn't fight for the wall like this sooner?
Yeah, because you had Paul Ryan as Speaker of the House, and Paul Ryan was never pro-Trump, never saw things the same. Look, this wall funding, this whole debate is all political. I mean, you and I both talked about how many times Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Obama, Clinton, Feinstein have all been on record on tape saying that they're for stronger borders and stronger immigration policy. This is all about politics. In fact, Schumer's willing to do $25 billion if he got what he wanted in DACA. So this is all BS politicking and whatnot. And Trump is not he's clearly one of the most hated politicians in D.C. So they're going to hold out on their side until someone blinks. My guess is that I'm going to just go out on a limb and say, I don't know that the best route is to declare a national emergency, but find the funding, find $3 billion somewhere. I mean, we have a $4 trillion budget, $3 billion. They blink and lose $3 billion on some things. Just find it or find something where, we saved $3 billion on the renegotiated NAFTA. And guess what? We found $3 billion and Mexico paid for it too.
Yeah.
Just play one of those gimmicky games that politicians on both sides of the aisle have played for, 247 years. So, and then we move on, and TSA can come back to work, and we can feel safe flying again, and all the other stuff.
Eric, have you noticed a difference in the media? I'm struck by when Republicans, quote unquote, shut down the government several years ago over something like Planned Parenthood. the argument was, why don't Republicans just give in on a few $100 million or $1 billion because we have to get this government open? Now that it's one little thing that the Democrats could easily just give in on and get all the government funded, the pitch from the press is the exact opposite, that it's the Republicans' fault because they won't give up on their one thing. It's fascinating how they reverse these things.
But don't forget, when you're on that side, you go, can you believe they won't just give up on this $5 billion? So look, I think, and this, and Glenn, I'm a 100% honest person. I think Trump is making a mistake keeping the rest of the government closed. I think what he should do is open the rest, let Homeland Security fight this fight, and just let the Homeland. Now, honestly, I know what he's doing. He's using the other agencies, kind of holding them hostage a little bit because a bigger package is harder to fight with. But I think to open the rest, so we don't have 800,000 people who aren't getting paychecks. Maybe we have 30,000 that aren't getting paychecks from now, and fight the battle at the border, literally where it should be fought. And he'll relinquish some leverage, but it would be more true, I guess, for being a base supporter. That's what the fight's really about.